Your yard is completely out of control.
I was hoping no one would notice.
Well, everyone has. I'm reporting this property today.
Then let me, ma'am.
It's none of your business. You're just a stranger.
Maybe, but you're her neighbor, and all you've done is complain.
When I said that, the whole street went quiet. I wasn't trying to embarrass anyone. It just made me wonder when being a good neighbor became easier to replace with filing a complaint. Sometimes, the people living closest to us are the ones we know the least about. That morning, I was driving through a quiet neighborhood when I noticed an elderly woman standing alone in an overgrown yard, while her neighbor argued with her from across the sidewalk. The grass had grown high. Weeds covered the front walkway. From the outside, it looked like someone had simply stopped caring. After the neighbor walked away, I unloaded my equipment before the elderly woman could change her mind. She kept telling me I didn't have to do this, but I smiled and said, "Let's take care of the yard first." Before I started, comment where you're watching from so we can see how far this story travels and who it reaches around the world. I began by using my string trimmer to clear the overgrown grass along the sidewalk, the front walkway, and the path leading to her front door. Once the entrance was visible again, I switched to my mower and cut down the tall grass covering the front yard. After that, I used the trimmer again to remove the weeds the mower couldn't reach, carefully cleaning around the corners of the house, beneath the large trees, and along both sides of the fence. Then, I cut back the wild vines and overgrown plants climbing the fence line until the yard slowly began to look like a home again. Finally, I used the blower to clear away every grass clipping, leaf, and piece of debris from the driveway, sidewalks, porch, and garden. By the time I finished, the entire property looked alive again. When I turned off the blower, I noticed the elderly woman sitting quietly on her porch, holding back tears. I walked over and asked if everything was okay. She smiled and told me her husband had always been the one who cared for the yard. After he passed away, she tried to keep doing it herself, but each year she became a little weaker. Her retirement check barely covered her electricity, groceries, property taxes, and medicine, so hiring someone was never an option. I asked why she had never asked a neighbor for help. She looked at the freshly cut lawn for a long moment before quietly saying, "When you've spent your whole life taking care of yourself, asking for help feels like giving up a part of who you are." Then she added something I'll never forget. People walked past this house every day. Some complained, some looked away. But you were the first person who knocked on my door. Before I left, she reached for my hand and softly said, "Thank you. Not for cutting my grass, but for making me feel like I still matter." I didn't know what to say. I just smiled. And that's when I realized something I'll never forget. The hardest part of growing old isn't losing your strength. It's wondering if anyone would notice you needed a helping hand. Sometimes, the greatest act of kindness isn't changing someone's yard. It's reminding them they still belong in this world. If this story touched your heart, comment family for every elderly person and every neighbor who deserves to feel seen, cared for, and never forgotten. Because family isn't always the people we live with. Sometimes, family is the person who chooses to show up when everyone else walks away. If you believe one small act of kindness can change someone's entire day, please like, share, and follow for more heartfelt stories that remind us what family really means. Thanks you so much for watching.